Hello and welcome back to the Nihil channel. We've got Sega news involving old franchises from the Game Awards this year. I'm super excited about it, even if it's not Shining Force. But I've got some thoughts. But we're gonna look at the trailer for this. I know I'm a little bit late to the party on this video, but I've got some I think a unique perspective. So, Captain is joining me today. Hi, Captain.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. You've not seen this trailer.
I have not. I'm aware that it exists, but I don't know anything about what I'm about to see.
All right, so we're gonna react to the trailer and then we're gonna talk about it. And there's been a little bit more information since this dropped, so we're gonna cover that too. So let's get into it. So I had no idea what to expect from this to start with. Um, so Sega, we knew, had been working on a big project. Because they disclosed they were working on a project that was $800 million,
Oh my gosh.
which is like Grand Theft Auto money.
Right.
So I had speculated before, what does that mean? Like, what could they possibly be doing that's that expensive?
Did you save the game?
Really? Of course I did.
This seems to be the answer.
Is this the same living room that's in the Sega Master Collection that you get where you open it up and it's a living room with video games?
I had not considered that. That's a really good observation. So we got Jet Set Radio, which looks great. Streets of Rage. We got Shinobi, which also looks great. We've got Golden Axe.
Oh my goodness.
We got Crazy Taxi. Like, it's so awesome. So the thing that I think is the most, oh yeah, I got it. I forgot there's one more thing. So, I love the yell at the end because it's just so like old Sega, you know?
90s, yeah.
So you hadn't seen this. What have you or did you play any of these games growing up?
Some of them. It looks like this is mostly Sega, Saturn, and Dreamcast era, which by that point, I think like most people in the US, I was kind of out on Sega and was more of a Nintendo guy. So like Golden Axe for sure,
Mhm.
Streets of Rage for sure. And I'm super excited. These are not remasters. These are
No.
brand new games and entirely new engines. And
Yes.
Crazy Taxi looks gorgeous. But other than that, no, these are kind of, I went in a different direction. I was more of a Nintendo and PlayStation
Mhm.
guy by that point.
So growing up, I played Jet Set Radio because my grandparents had an Xbox that one of my cousins left at their house just for whoever. So my brother and I would come over and we'd play Jet Set Radio, and it was super fun. Um, I played Shinobi on the Sega Smash Pack on my computer. I guess I should say I lost at Shinobi a lot because man, is it hard. Golden Axe I played same way. I never really played Streets of Rage, and then I played Crazy Taxi in a few arcades.
Yeah.
But the thing that really excited me was and more, because obviously this is a Shining Force centric channel. And we have some of that data for and more. So let's jump to that real quick. Here we have Gamatsu, who are great at covering Sega properties, I've noticed. I'm just noticing a pattern. We've got Gamatsu on Twitter noting that Sega has, this was what day? December 13th. Sega filed the following 4 trademarks on December 6th. Okay, that's when they noticed in Japan, which were made public today. So we've got Altered Beast, Eternal Champions, Jet Set Radio, and Kid Chameleon. So there's 4 more trademarks already, and that does to me kind of indicate that Jet Set Radio is among them, and we've seen footage of that already. So it makes me wonder about some of these other ones, if we're gonna get more of that.
You're thinking we'll see some more trademarks pop up over the next few weeks.
I think we already have, and we're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
I grew up playing Altered Beast and Kid Chameleon. I had those in the same Sega Smash Pack that Shining Force was on, so I'm super excited for those as well. And I'm really curious what styles they're gonna go for on that. Like, I don't even know if you ask me how are you gonna make an updated version of those. I don't know, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, and I think the gameplay footage so far looks fantastic. Um, like that it's that far along. And I'm really excited too that 800, if this is that $800 million project, uh it is like way cooler to me than making a single game is all of these. Like this is one of the most exciting things Sega could do, I think, is like reassert themselves to be like we are important into the industry. Like we used to be a major player. We made consoles, and I think people have forgotten that for too long. So I'm excited to see them return to their glory days. Do you have any connection to any of these other ones?
I mean, Altered Beast is definitely an iconic arcade and uh, console game from my childhood. Yes, it's funny you say you can't imagine it. I immediately think like this feels like it's the precursor for God of War, and so it's destined to be a God of War style game. And ironically,
Maybe.
Sega, Sega's done that before. They did what is it called, Sonic Unleashed, which was not a
Hmm.
great game. But what is Sonic Unleashed? Sonic Unleashed is Sonic turns into a wolf and starts beating people up. So, you put that in the hands of people who know what they're doing. That could be a lot of fun.
It could be. It could be. I don't actually not familiar with Eternal Champions. Are you?
No, I'm not. I was looking that one up and it does not look familiar to me.
I'm gonna pause real quick and I'm gonna look it up as well. So give me one sec. Okay, so this is Eternal Champions. I'm not familiar. It looks like a fighting game. But if you are an Eternal Champions fan, and you feel like you've not gotten a new game in a long time, good news potentially. So that's what that is.
I'm reading that it was Sega's answer to Mortal Kombat. And given the success that Mortal Kombat has had in the last 5 to 10 years, I wonder if that's the direction Eternal Champions will go. Will it be violence and all of that?
Hmm. I don't know. This looks like. I mean, we've got Inspector Gadget and a man in tights throwing CDs. Like, it looks pretty goofy, so I would also like to see them kind of keep this, like, kind of goofy aesthetic.
Yeah, I agree. Differentiate yourself, not don't just be Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's cool. The, like, environment interactions. Did he just win off? Oh my gosh, he just
Yeah.
wins.
He's
Okay.
straight from half health.
Yeah. Like I said, not familiar with this at all, but this looks wacky. All right, let's jump to some of those other copyrights filed though, or trademarks. So, yeah, they talked about the trailer teased more classic revivals to come. So while these trademarks could mean nothing, maybe there's something. Then 8 more trademarks were filed and made public, I guess, December 14th. And that is Alex Kidd, Afterburner, Crazy Taxi, which we already saw, House of the Dead, Outrun, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and Super Monkey Ball. Um, Alex Kidd, I am familiar with because we've gotten kind of remakes of that. I know on like the virtual consoles, I think for the Wii U, I think is what it was. Alex Kidd Monster World. Um, I don't have any connection to Afterburner. I don't know if you do, Captain.
No, these are all names I recognize. The only one that I really have a connection to is House of the Dead.
Same. Well, I connect to a couple more, but yeah, I think all of us have played House of the Dead in an arcade or like in a skating rink or, somewhere at some point. I do wonder, like, I don't know, I don't get that excited about arcade games these days. I never really have. I've just never really been an arcade person. Um, but to me, House of the Dead feels like it's very at home on an arcade, and I don't know how a home release would do.
The House of the Dead series has always been really good. You talked about kind of, knowing its own place and knowing how to fit in. House of the Dead's very self-aware, right? They had
Hmm.
a typing tutor, Typing of the Dead, that sort of tells
Yes.
you everything that you need to know about kind of how they think about themselves. I'd be willing to bet that they reinvent it completely. It's got to do with zombies, but Maybe it's not a shooter. Maybe they do something totally crazy that you and I wouldn't even guess.
That's a very good point. I played Outrun some on the same Sega Smash Pack, like I said, with Shinobi and Shining Force. Haven't really played Streets of Rage, and then Super Monkey Ball. I'm surprised to see that in this list, because, you know, this is a list of games that have not gotten a ton of love, like a series that's not gotten a ton of love. But Super Monkey Ball, I feel like, still gets re-releases and stuff to this day, so it's a little surprising for me to see that here.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I remember it from the GameCube days for sure, but you're right. There have been games being released as recently as, at least remakes as recently as last year.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was confused about, so I'm like, I don't know.
It's not a bad thing. Super Monkey Ball was a great game. Lots of fun. Would love to play it on a modern console.
Yeah, but you kind of already can.
It's true. It's very true.
So I'm a little bit confused about that. I'm just going to run the trailer footage more in the background while we're talking. So I've seen two groups of people that are also a little bit disappointed by this announcement, and I know that's because of the communities that I hang out in. But I've seen people say, oh, no Shining Force, and oh, no Phantasy Star. And I say, I don't know that that necessarily is what that means, for a couple of reasons. And that is that we have the mobile game that was just being worked on for Shining Force this past year. So I don't know that you need to renew the trademark, because they probably already did for that. You know what I mean?
It's an excellent point. You're right. Why renew a trademark for something that's kind of supposed to be in active development?
Right. And while that's had a lot of hiccups, and I'm going to do another video talking about that, and just kind of collecting all the information that we have thus far, I don't know that they would need to renew the copyright of the trademark so quickly, because that was just in the past 2 years. And, you know, most of these titles, like Golden Axe and Shinobi, they haven't gotten, like, new games in, like, 10 years. Maybe longer. So, you know, Kid Chameleon, there was only one of them back on the Sega Genesis, and that's it. So, like, I don't know that they need, you know, it's different. Like, the Shining series as a whole has not been neglected that long. Even though we feel like it's been forever, it hasn't been as long as some of these other ones. And the other one is Phantasy Star, and this is kind of funny to me that people are like, oh, no new Phantasy Star, and I'm like, you guys realize that there's a Phantasy Star MMO running right now that, like, is still getting updated.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, it's on Steam. Like, so I'm not a Phantasy Star person. I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't played through all of them yet. But I'm not sure if it's kind of like the Shining series, where after Shining Force 3, it kind of gets into, you know, nobody looks at Shining Resonance Refrain and is like, well, this scratches that Shining Force itch. It's very different. And I don't know, Phantasy Star fans might feel that way about the MMO, or maybe there's a point before that, you know, Phantasy Star 1 through 4, I know are really, really lauded by RPG fans, but that's another one that I'm like, I don't think they need to renew the trademark for that, even if they wanted to do a new, like, single-player RPG, because they have a game for it running right now. Like, actively. So I'm just like, yeah, you don't need to renew. I don't think, you know, unless I'm totally wrong, which in which case the comments I'm sure will correct me. I don't think you would need to renew a trademark for something that you are actively doing things with.
I think that's fair. You're right. I'm not a lawyer, so we'll just put that up at the front. But you're probably right. If we're going off of, are they filing in the system, this is probably not the best thing to look for. We need to look for some breadcrumbs other places, which sounds like Famitsu is doing.
Yes, and I know people are probably going to be like, oh, why didn't you click on the links? I'm curious what those are. I'll click on one for you. I already have. It's not that interesting. Like, we'll do Altered Beast. So this takes us to cheeseiwatch.com, which is in Japanese, trademark watch. I'm not familiar with this website, but it tells you when it was filed, what the type of the trademark is, the classification, which to me is, it sounds funny, mechanical equipment, education, entertainment. Like, mechanical equipment, I'm like, I don't know what that means. If that means new, we'll check. Let's look at Jet Set Radio too. Does it have that? Yes, okay. Because I was like, maybe that means arcade cabinet or something. But I would be shocked if Jet Set Radio got an arcade cabinet much more than Altered Beast. But yeah, it's auto-translated, so keep that in mind. But, I mean, it shows you, like, just the basic stuff. Like, it has to do with mobile phones, ROM cartridges, computer programs. It doesn't really tell us anything else that's that interesting.
Well, and I have something for you, and I'm going to send it over to you so you can pull it up for this discussion.
Okay.
I said Famitsu. I meant Gamatsu earlier. Gamatsu actually does have an article from 2021 about the Shining Force trademark, so you can pull that up and we can look at. They did file it 2 years ago.
Okay. Give me a second. I'll have that up. All right, here we have the Gamatsu article that Captain found. Sega trademarks Sonic Frontiers in Japan. Square Enix trademarks The Diofeld Chronicle, The Beasts of Burden, more. And this is from November 8th, 2021. So you said it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
right here,
down?
third paragraph.
Other
new trademarks from Sega include Shining Force and...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hikari
Yeah,
to Yami no Ayu. I don't know what that is. But those are for the upcoming mobile games. So yeah, if we do that, and then what is this linked to? Does it work? The specified data was not found. I don't know why that links... we'll assume that was there. But yeah. So yeah, this is from, like we said, 2 years ago. They already filed the trademark for that. So they probably don't need to renew it that quickly. I do agree. So that doesn't mean that there's a new Shining title in development or anything other than what we've already seen, but it doesn't mean that that it's not included in those lists either. I think, Sega's decided to reassert some market dominance using franchises that personally I think were really, really strong back in the day. So I'm excited for the new era of Sega. And I mean, they call it the new era. The song at the start of the trailer starts with the lyrics like, allow me to reintroduce myself, or allow me to reintroduce you. It's one of the two. I'm really excited for this direction that Sega is going. But what do you guys think in the comments? Are you excited about this? I probably... I'm not going to make any promises about covering these on the channel. I probably will, though. Because I think the best way to keep getting more of these old series, Shining Force, Phantasy Star, whatever, is to support Sega, and I really want to see them succeed, because I really like how they've been handling things for a long time. I love how they treat the Sonic community. They really embrace fanworks. And I would love to see them do that with all of these series. And I think that could position Sega in a place in the market that most AAA developers are not in. I think that Sega has, kind of touched base with the Sonic community in a way that a lot of other studios, I think, should. Too often these days, studios feel like the community's kind of a burden. Like, they make games in spite of the community, and it would be really cool to see them work more with the community in the way that Sega does with Sonic. So I'm excited for all of these. Do you have any closing thoughts, Captain?
No, I completely agree. If we want to see them continue to invest in this, then the best thing that we can do is show the support for it. And everybody wants to see their game supported, and we get it. And it would be great if we saw Shining Force, and maybe we still will. But if we all just throw a fit and say, oh, well, I'll see the game that I want, so I'm not going to have any part of it. It's kind of like the mobile game. We had the same conversation there. Nobody really wanted a mobile game, but showing support and interest in the mobile game and showing them that there's an interest in this kind of stuff is how you get the stuff that you like. And I understand if you don't necessarily want to financially support it, but watching videos, commenting, being a part of the community, that's how we get them thinking that this is worth continuing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to some of the younger viewers, it probably sounds really weird to think about the fact that, like, there's obviously still a ton of Nintendo people. You know, there's people that play every Nintendo release. There's YouTube channels dedicated to Nintendo, specifically. But back in the day, before YouTube, back in my day, there were Sega people that played all these Sega releases. And I'm really excited for those people. I'm really excited to see kind of a resurgence of that. And I hope that that is what this leads to, because that would be really fun. But what do you think in the comments below? What trademark are you the most excited about? I'll scroll down the list for you one more time just so you can see them all. And yeah, if another question I have, this might be a future video. If they're going to do a new Shining Force game, what studio do you want to make it? Because I know that we could talk about the original studios coming back, but I think that a lot of the people that were there during the Shining days are not still there. So I don't know if that would even make sense at this point, but who would you want to see do it? Personally, I'd like to see a bunch of the mod creators do it, but I don't know if that's
the dream.
Yep. All right, that's it for the news. Thank you all, and I will see you next time.